Randy Orton has been one of WWE's most dangerous superstars for more than 2 decades. He went from a 22-year-old rookie in 2002 to the youngest world heavyweight champion in WWE history. He became the Legend Killer, then the Viper, and eventually one of the most decorated superstars WWE has ever produced. He has won world championships, Royal Rumbles, Money in the Bank, and competed against legends and future Hall of Famers. And even after a serious back injury kept him out for nearly 18 months, Randy Orton came back. And in 2026, he's still fighting at the top. So let's go back to where it all started. 2002, the debut. Randy Orton made his WWE television debut in April 2002. He was only 22 years old, but WWE immediately saw something special in him. Orton had the look, the athletic ability, and the confidence of a future superstar. After moving to Raw, he began competing against established WWE names and quickly gained attention. But injuries slowed down his early progress. Still, WWE continued to push him. And in 2003, everything changed. Evolution. Randy Orton became a member of Evolution, alongside Triple H, Ric Flair, and Batista. Evolution was designed to represent different generations of wrestling. Ric Flair was the legend. Triple H was the established superstar. Batista and Randy Orton were the future. And Orton quickly began developing a ruthless personality. He wasn't satisfied with simply defeating his opponents. He wanted to destroy legends, and that's how the Legend Killer was born. Orton started targeting some of the biggest names in wrestling. One of his most memorable early rivalries was with Mick Foley. Their brutal confrontation at Backlash 2004 helped establish Orton as one of WWE's most dangerous young stars. Then came the moment that changed his career forever. The youngest world champion at SummerSlam 2004, Randy Orton defeated Chris Benoit to become the world heavyweight champion. At just 24 years old, Orton became the youngest world heavyweight champion in WWE history. It looked like Evolution had successfully created its next superstar, but Triple H wasn't happy. He wanted the championship back, and eventually, Evolution turned against Randy Orton. Triple H, Batista, and Ric Flair attacked him. The young champion had been betrayed by the very people who helped him reach the top. But instead of destroying Orton's career, it made him even more dangerous. The Viper is born. Over the next few years, Randy Orton continued climbing the WWE ladder. In 2006, he teamed up with Edge to create Rated-RKO. The two became one of Raw's most dangerous tag teams and feuded with DX. But Orton eventually returned to singles competition, and his character became darker. The Legend Killer evolved into the Viper, cold, calculated, unpredictable. Orton became famous for waiting for the perfect moment before striking. And then came the move that became his trademark, the RKO, out of nowhere. It didn't matter how big his opponent was. It didn't matter whether Orton was losing the match. One mistake, and it was over. John Cena in the WWE Championship. During the late 2000s, Randy Orton became one of John Cena's biggest rivals. Cena was WWE's ultimate hero. Orton was the cold-blooded villain. Their rivalry became one of the defining feuds of the era. They fought over the WWE Championship multiple times and became two of the most important superstars of their generation. Orton continued collecting championships and major victories. But another important chapter was about to begin. Legacy. In 2008, Randy Orton formed Legacy with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. Orton was the leader. Cody and Ted were the young stars learning from him. At the time, nobody could have predicted just how important Cody Rhodes would eventually become. Legacy eventually fell apart, but Orton continued his rise. In 2009, he won his first Royal Rumble match, earning a WrestleMania main event opportunity. And years later, he would win the Royal Rumble again. The authority and money in the bank. Randy Orton remained one of WWE's biggest stars throughout the early 2000s. He battled names like John Cena, CM Punk, Sheamus, and Christian. Then, in 2013, Orton won the Money in the Bank contract. He later cashed it in and became WWE champion. Orton was also closely connected with the Authority, led by Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Once again, Triple H and Randy Orton were on the same side. But eventually, that relationship collapsed too. And that's something that happened repeatedly throughout Orton's career. He could make alliances. But sooner or later, the RKO usually came out of nowhere. 2017, another Royal Rumble. In 2017, Randy Orton won his second Royal Rumble match. This time, his story was connected to Bray Wyatt. Orton became involved with the Wyatt family before eventually turning against Bray. At WrestleMania 33, Orton defeated Bray Wyatt to win the WWE Championship. Another championship, another WrestleMania moment, and another reminder that Randy Orton could remain relevant in completely different eras of WWE. But his biggest challenge was still ahead: RK-Bro. In 2021 and 2022, WWE gave fans a completely different Randy Orton. He teamed up with Matt Riddle, and somehow it worked. The serious and dangerous Viper was paired with the energetic and unpredictable Riddle. The team became known as RK-Bro. They became extremely popular with fans and captured the Raw Tag Team Championships. But then everything changed. In 2022, Orton suffered a serious back injury. He was forced to step away from WWE, and this time, nobody knew when he would return. For approximately 18 months, Randy Orton was gone. Some fans even wondered if his career was over. Then came Survivor Series 2023. The Viper returns. The lights went down. The crowd waited, and then Randy Orton's music hit. The arena exploded. After around 18 months away, the Viper was back. Orton returned at Survivor Series, War Games, and immediately reminded everyone why he was one of WWE's biggest stars. He hadn't lost his timing, he hadn't lost his aggression, and most importantly, he hadn't lost the RKO. Orton returned to WWE and began targeting the biggest names on the roster, but eventually, his story came back to someone from his past, someone he once mentored: Cody Rhodes. Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Remember Legacy? Randy Orton was the leader. Cody Rhodes was the young star following his lead. But more than a decade later, they found themselves on completely different sides. In 2026, that history became personal. At Elimination Chamber 2026, Randy Orton entered the chamber match with Cody Rhodes and several other top WWE stars. Orton survived the chaos, and in the final moments, he hit Cody Rhodes with an RKO to win the match. That victory earned Orton a WWE Championship opportunity at WrestleMania 42. The story was perfect: the mentor versus the student, the past versus the present, the Viper versus the American Nightmare. WrestleMania 42. At WrestleMania 42, Randy Orton challenged Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. It wasn't just about the title, it was about history. Cody had once been the young star trying to learn from Orton. Now he was WWE Champion, and Orton wanted to prove that he was still capable of standing at the top. The match was filled with chaos and interference, but ultimately, Cody Rhodes survived and retained his championship. However, Randy Orton wasn't finished. After the match, Orton attacked Cody, and then came one of the most brutal moments of their rivalry: the punt kick. The Viper had made his message clear. He wasn't going away. And now, in 2026, Randy Orton remains one of WWE's biggest names. Think about the journey. In 2002, he was a 22-year-old rookie trying to prove himself. Today, he's a veteran who has competed against multiple generations of WWE superstars. He's a 14-time world champion, a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, a Money in the Bank winner, a multiple-time tag team champion, and one of the most recognizable performers in WWE history. But his legacy isn't just about championships. It's about longevity. Randy Orton has survived injuries, character changes, new generations, new eras, and an ever-changing WWE landscape. He went from Evolution's young prospect to the legend killer, to the Viper, to the apex predator, to RK-Bro. And now, in 2026, he's once again hunting for championship gold. For more than 24 years, Randy Orton has been one of WWE's most unpredictable superstars. He's defeated legends. He's betrayed allies. He's won championships. He's lost championships. He's suffered devastating injuries. And somehow, he always comes back. That's why Randy Orton isn't just another WWE superstar. He's one of the defining wrestlers of his generation. And after everything we've seen since that first WWE debut in 2002, there's still one thing you should never forget. You never know when he's coming. Because when Randy Orton strikes, the RKO always comes out of nowhere.